So here I'm up in my favourite place, up in the forestry with the dogs, listening to Slayer KM interviewing Clicks Money on his podcast D-Talk. I'm enjoying it very much and it's making me think a lot. I haven't been posting much recently because I've been busy, and I've been busy creating content. Away on a weekend visit down to Halifax to play guitar and meet guitar friends, make new guitar friends and interview them for my podcast, which is Acoustic Guitar IO. And I'm 46. I've got some time now to create content because my lovely wife is working at the post office for me. And my head's just filled with ideas. And even though I have time, I'm still struggling to find enough time to do what I want to do. So I've also just listened to the Jordan Harbinger show where Jason Calacanis was the guest, and he talked about his job as an angel investor, about earning lots of money doing what you love, and about investing in people, not in products, and that kind of thing gets me thinking too, and it gets me feeling a wee bit sort of, oh man, what have I done with my life? I'm 46, I've got a massive overdraft, a credit card bill, a mortgage. What's going on? You know, I spent a fortune getting an education and I'm not using any of that, or am I? I've got a liberal arts education, I guess you might call it, but I also have a skill in that I learned a language. I was a fluent Russian speaker for many years. I worked as a translator and interpreter. I was earning decent money, and we left well-paid jobs, me and my wife, to come and live here and just have a look around you. You might get an idea as to why we would do such a thing. Look at that view. That's Holy Isle in the background, and this is literally 5 minutes from my house, or it's maybe 15 at a push. So we bought into this lifestyle. We knew we were never going to be rich, however we didn't realise quite how much we'd be struggling. I love the sound of the dog barking. And the sound of the reverb in the woods. I actually bought a Zoom H4n recorder. Marvellous, isn't it? I bought a Zoom recorder because the sound of the echo of the dogs barking intrigued me, and I was listening to Roger Waters and I was doing some music production courses, and I thought, wow, that would be a great sound to incorporate into a song. Never did it, of course, like many of my great inspired ideas. But that leads me on to motivation. It leads me on to seeing things through, about getting all these thoughts in my head into a plan and executing that plan. That's where my problem lies. Motivation is perhaps my biggest weakness. I can feel motivated for a period of time and get things done, and then that motivation dwindles, or maybe not dwindles, but it shifts focus into something else. So I go through phases of being obsessed with guitar, and if anything gets in the way of my playing guitar and learning new things, I get pissed off. And then I'll move on to something else. It might be reading books. I go through phases of that. I go through phases of watching movies. I go through phases of hiking, although that one hasn't lasted much. That said, I'm going on one tomorrow. So all of these focuses that shift so readily onto other things means that I can never really execute on any one thing. I did get a degree. I got a master's degree as well. So that shows that I have the perseverance and the tenacity to get through something challenging. I think that's probably the achievement I'm most proud of, is getting a degree, because I used to put people who had degrees on some kind of pedestal, thinking that that was beyond me, and it turns out that it wasn't. So, but now I don't know, what am I going to do in my life? Where's my chance? Where's my opportunity? Happiness, I think, is my ultimate goal. So why does being skint, i.e. having no money, why does that affect my happiness so much? I don't know. Am I spiritually bankrupt? No, I'm not. I have quite a good spiritual core, I think. I have a really good understanding of myself in many ways because of my 12-step program, which has helped me to stay sober now for almost 13 years. So that's a good thing, but that kind of knowledge and awareness is a double-edged sword in some ways, because I find myself aware of all my shortcomings and yet not doing anything about it. Perhaps being unaware was, in a sense, blissful, because I didn't realise that I really should be doing anything about these weaknesses. But then I suppose that I would have been aware of different weaknesses at that time. I don't know. I should just look round me and be grateful that I've got all of this just up the hill from my house. I've got 2 healthy children, both of whom are doing very well in life. It's fascinating for me to watch them grow. I've got a wife who loves me and whom I love very much. We all have our health, for the most part, diabetes notwithstanding, but I'm managing that reasonably well. And gratitude, sometimes I find myself thinking gratitude is something that people harp on about when their lives are shit, you know, but I know that that's not true. I know that gratitude is something that we all should feel. Jason Calacanis had an interesting thing in his podcast. He talked about hamburgers. He talked about how a hamburger from a great hamburger joint will be as enjoyable to him as it would be to anybody else, and he's got 100 million in the bank. So I don't know if there's anything to that. I suppose my point is, people are people, so why should it be you and I should get along so famously, to paraphrase an 80s synth pop band. So I don't really know where I was going with this. I haven't come to any conclusions. I just thought I would ramble some thoughts into my phone whilst I was feeling inspired on the back of Slayer KM's excellent podcast, which I recommend you all subscribe to. He's doing a killer job with that podcast, and you should all go out there and support him in any way that you can. Re-steam his posts, subscribe to his podcast, and enjoy the blockchain, people. I'll see you all on the next podcast, on the next video. Bye for now.